Hey guys, what's up? So it's been a little while since we've talked, maybe a week or two. Um, a lot has gone on in that past week, in this past week or two. I've been dealing with a lot of people, a lot of situations that are far beyond my control, and they just seem to be stressing me out. But in all of that, I had to realize, and it was brought to my attention again today, that a lot of the things that are happening, are happening for a reason. Um, there's a lesson that I'm supposed to get out of it. And if you ever really pay attention to a lot of the situations that happen in your life, if you really think about it, a lot of times the situations don't change unless you've learned what it is you're supposed to learn. The characters may change though, so you may have a confrontation at work with some people, and then you realize that you may have confrontation with your friends about something else, but the basis of both confrontations are the same. And sometimes you got to sit back and think, well, maybe I'm supposed to react. I'm sorry, not react, but I'm supposed to respond differently because all I've been doing is reacting. So keep that in mind, because I know I've experienced that a lot in the past few days. The characters have changed, but people are presenting me with the same issues, and I keep failing the test because I keep reacting instead of responding. And I get it now, so it's time for me to move on to the next thing. But I think that's important, because when you realize that, then you'll realize that it's not really so much as a person of fault that you need to blame, but you need to realize that Ephesians tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. So when you look at it that way, you kind of say, you know what, all right, the person that's standing in front of me that's really pissing me off, it's not really them. They're just being used by the devil and his wickedness and his powers. So when you look at it that way, you learn how to respond differently. It's not you, the person, I'm upset with. I'm upset with the issue that's come about, and because you're being used by somebody. Now a whole lot of people will argue this and say, well, I do my own thing, or don't nobody tell me what to do. We all react to different situations differently for different reasons, agreed. But the time where you could have showed compassion and you didn't, the time where you should have been a little more fair and you weren't, the time where you should have told the truth and you didn't, all of those things, you know what I mean? Their negative influences that are impressed upon you by wickedness that comes from the left and from the right. So I just wanted to have you keep that in mind. And saying that, just to know that we do not wrestle against the people. We're wrestling against what's behind the people. And the Amplified Bible says it a little differently. It says we wrestle not against the flesh and blood, contending only with physical opponents, but we wrestle against despotisms, which is like tyrannic governments, rules, powers. We wrestle against the masters of the spirits who are the rulers of this very world that we're in, or this present darkness. We also wrestle against spirits and wickedness in heavenly places. So don't think that the devil is only in the dark alleys and things like that. He's right there in churches. He's right there at the wedding ceremony. He's even there with you when you're in bed, or you're with your family. He's everywhere. So you have to constantly be on the watch for the things that you do and the things that you allow to influence you to make a decision. So in that, finally, I'm an adult. I'm a grown man, and when I make a mistake, I like to try to correct it, or at least admit my fault in it. And this week on Facebook, I kind of went off on someone, and Carlos I apologize for how I went about expressing my feelings. I could have done that a better way. I understand mistakes happen, and that was just the bad time for me to find it. And again, that's not an excuse, because, like I said, I could have handled it better. And I look forward to doing so in the future with anyone and everyone. But I don't want to be, tagged as one of those people who can't accept responsibility for their own actions. So that being said, hey, I apologize for how I reacted when I should have probably responded a little better. And that's really it on that. I'm not going to dwell too much on it. But yeah, remind yourselves, guys, please remind yourselves that, hey, when that person is pissing you off at work or in your social network or whatever, hey, listen, it's a test. There's something that needs to be learned from this experience, and until you learn it, it's going to keep presenting itself, the same situation, and it's just going to be different characters. So, excuse me. So just keep that in mind as this goes on in your life, and hopefully it gets better for you. God bless, and we got the Super Bowl this weekend. I hope your team wins, and more importantly, I hope you guys all find better ways to communicate and fellowship with each other, and show someone else the Jesus in you. Goodbye.